A few days ago, I uploaded a video to YouTube about my Midjourney workflow, and I got a comment saying, I'd like to see how you prompt some conceptual stuff if you get a chance. I don't really know what that means or what they meant by that, but I'm going to do my best to try to decipher what they meant. I mean, I don't know if they meant stuff like this or like this. I'm trying to figure out what they mean by conceptual, but what I do like to do whenever I'm prompting is I'll either take reference images or I'll go to ChatGPT to give me just a random sentence or saying, and I'll just throw it in and see what happens. So I'll say, give me 10 random sentences with no more than 5 words. Usually people will say don't use ChatGPT to write your prompts, but whenever you're running out of ideas or you just want to conceptualize quickly, I'll just go to ChatGPT. I don't really care. So here's one. Sunshine called in sick. So whenever I'm prompting something that's abstract, I'll change to portrait settings and I'll turn the stylization up. So at around a 600 is pretty good right here. And I have a 20 variety. So I think it'll look all right. But what's generating now is more model centric with a little bit of oil painting style. So what I can do is change to a different personalization setting and upload the same prompt. So I'll go from personalization setting to personalization setting just to see what ends up looking good. And if I find something that looks cool, I'll roll with it. What I can also do is go to the explore page, upload that same sentence and see what comes up. Or I'll go to the explore page and I'll see something that I like, take it and go. What I also do is, let's say, take a bunch of random pictures that don't usually really go together and just hit enter and see what happens. Like here's a different personalization code. This one's more bitmap collage heavy, which is pretty cool. So I'll just rerun this one a couple times and see what happens. These are turning out pretty cool. So it all kind of depends on what you're specifically looking for. You can really get any style or any image that you want if you know exactly what you're looking for. So when I conceptualize or when I want to come up with a random idea or a new idea, I'll go into my reference images. I'll go into my older images that I have generated. For example, just get a random picture. Like these ones were pretty cool. And I'll just take the prompt and re-enter it. So this prompt, I think I took from this website called Style Safari. Style Safari is really cool. It's an SREF project, the SREF project. So an SREF is it's a style reference. So for example, if you were to take an image and throw it into the style reference, that's a specific SREF. But they also have SREFs attached to codes. So let's say I like this SREF and I think that it looks nice. I'll take this. I'll go back to the top of the Organize tab. Sunshine called in sick. Apply that SREF. Keep my personalization. I mean, I could turn the personalization off just to test it out. Keep the stylization high. Keep the variety. And just see what happens. So a lot of these ones, the called in sick, I don't know what it's calling specifically for, but the images are coming back interesting. Some of them cooler than others, but they'll all come back with something. Let's say for this one, for example, I like this one. I'll upscale it because I like it, and I'll create some variations with it. So I'll hit very strong, and it'll come up with slightly different variations of this same image. So another example, if I like something that's coming up over here, I'll take these to the image prompts. And what the image prompt will do, it'll take a description of the image and apply it instead of using an actual prompt. It kind of uses the /describe or the describe mode. So let me show you an example of what I mean. So I just described this image, and these are all the prompts that it comes back with: a collage of floating skulls, bones, melting clocks, blah blah blah. And they're all just what it thinks it's looking at, what the computer thinks it's looking at. So I'll take that image and run all of the prompts, and all of those prompts have my other reference images included with it. So we'll just see what happens. So these images right here are based off of just the image description. And this is version 7. This is Midjourney version 7. When I initially did that prompt, it was with Niji version 6. Niji is like the anime-centric version of Midjourney. But these ones are looking pretty cool. I mean, depending on what I was going for, these are very like skull and skeleton heavy. But that's literally what's in the prompt. And that was majorly what was in the described image. Yeah, there was a skeleton skull right here, so of course it's going to call on that. But let's go back to this one. So these are all pretty cool. I don't know what the specific use case for this is. They look cool. I don't know, maybe somebody could in the comments could tell me what I could use all of these images for. I have a lot of really cool images that I think look cool, but I don't really know what to do with them. So if somebody in the comments has a good idea for what I can do with all of these images that I have generated, let me know and I'll take your advice. But yeah, that's what I do for conceptualizing. Let's try again. Let's take a couple of these pictures, for example. Let's turn on my personalization code and just run it, see what happens. A lot of these images right here are from older prompts that I had generated years ago. Like this one, for example, Grand Picture Frame by Mark Wright. And all of these reference images that I have included were images that I generated in Midjourney years ago. So let me go back. I probably still have them over here. Yeah, right here. So 133 weeks ago, these are when I generated these images. So I would take these, throw them in the image prompt. I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of have a lot of reference images. Like this one was really cool. This was generated in Midjourney version 3, and I think it looks pretty sick still, because you don't really see images that have that like old AI feel to them. You don't really see many old realistic AI images anymore. Probably because the quality is just so good right now that people don't even want to waste their time looking at what images used to look like. But I think it's really interesting. So I'll just roll that one and let's see what happens. So here's some of my old prompts. These are just images that I've taken from other images that I had generated. So those were the old ones. These are the new ones. It's hit or miss. Like these really don't look good at all. Maybe to someone, not to me. So that one's kind of a bust. But what I can also do is I can just take this image, have it be described, go to the create page. It's going to describe it in 4 different sections, run all the prompts, and see what it comes up with. But here's the other example. These were the 4 picture frames that I had generated a long time ago, and here's where they are now. So it still has a very weird, if you want to say weird, quality to it, but I think they look pretty sick. You can honestly take one of these and make it into something real. But for me, my use case, I just think they look cool. I may or may not eventually make something out of them. I really don't think I will. I just think that they look really cool, and I think that if somebody's watching this and they get an idea and they're like, oh, I can make that, then just do it. Just everything that I have, just take it. It doesn't matter to me. So here's some of the things that were described. A red dragon with long tentacles in the background, an ancient Chinese woman wearing a blue hanfu, close-up of characters and details, a green forest, colorful ink style painting, a hidden detail, gritty horror comic style. So you can get very in-depth with your prompting. And describing goes very in-depth with your prompting. Some of these things I freak myself out, or I used to freak myself out seeing them rendered, just because it just feels weird to see that a computer generated something like this. Like it has that little hint of not real, just enough to kind of freak me out. That's how I used to see it. Now it's like, okay, it's a cool image or it's not. Another thing I'll do for conceptualizing is I'll go on Pinterest. So let's say, for example, wow, I really like that image. I'm just gonna copy and paste it. Say what you want. I know how you feel about it. Everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. So I'll paste it. It's gonna go into my now reference images, and it is described when it is in your reference images. You click on this little eye icon and it'll automatically describe it, and you get to pick which parts of it you want to keep in and which parts you don't. So I'll just go through and I'll click everything, because why not, right? Just click it all and see what happens. This is usually what I do. Like every time I'm like, man, I just want to make something. Well, this is what I'll do. And eventually, well, by the time I'm done, I go to filters, upscales, things that I've liked so far today, or something that I generated a little while ago, and this picture. I mean, it looks cool. I think it looks pretty sick, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So based off of this picture that we had, I'm just going to describe it as well. So you have the describe function and you have descriptors of the image. The descriptors are going to be when you press that little eye icon when it's in your reference images, and the describe function is when you drag it and you drop the item into describe. It's essentially the same thing in the Discord version. You just have to do /describe and it'll pop up. But there you go. I mean, with some iterating, this can look pretty cool. These ones, some of them are cool, some of them are whatever. But there you go. Again, you could get literally anything you want out of this, and these are really cool images. But closer to our initial reference image is these. And if you really are sensitive to using someone else's art, which is understandable, you just take the images that Midjourney rendered and you render your own, and then you go and edit and iterate from there. So by the time you end up with an actual image that you like, it'll be deviated from the original that you won't even recognize the difference. You just recognize the style. And these are whatever. Like these images, I can already tell they're not something that I like. This one's pretty cool. I think it's something that I actually enjoy, so I'm gonna upscale it. I think it looks pretty sick. So I do upscale subtle. So the difference between upscale subtle and upscale creative is the level of detail. So if you do upscale creative, it'll shift details in your render that you might not want or you might not care about seeing. So for example, if you have a maximalist painting and you do upscale creative, it'll change large portions of your image and it'll just vary it inconsistently. Whereas if you did upscale subtle, it varies it minimally and it looks way closer to what you initially wanted it to look like, just in a higher resolution. And that's the whole point of upscaling, is to get a better resolution. So that one looked pretty cool. Let's do another one. We'll do one more and we'll wrap it up. So for example, so let's take this alien, right? Just throw him in. We'll call him, we'll say alien, comma, polygon, comma, PS1, and just do it. It doesn't have to be so in-depth or intense that people... Midjourney has such an aesthetic, like very deep aesthetic mode that you can pretty much make anything you want and it looks really good. Whereas if you were prompting with ChatGPT and DALL-E, it would come out less consistently, but the consistency of your prompt is what matters most. So if you have a really good prompt, you'll get a really good and clean output. So let's take these two for example. The one that we used previously with our X-ray or whatever you would call it, if we just use the descriptors and what was going on in the original image, it actually looks pretty good and pretty close to what the original image was. Whereas for example, we use just the image along with our own custom prompt and it's really not a good prompt, this is what we'll get back with. It's cool, sure, but it's nothing like the initial image that we put in. So what I do in this scenario is I go and I take all of the descriptors and I implement them into the prompt. It's not a very good description and it's kind of hard to emulate, but who knows? Maybe it emulates it pretty well. The only way you're really going to find out is if you try. So we'll go back to our organize tab. We'll go over some of the things that we generated that look pretty cool. That one looks pretty cool. That one's cool. I really like how this one turned out, but what we're going to do is we're going to vary it strongly because it's not exactly where I want it to be, or it's not the exact image that I really think it's going to look cool in the end. Again, depending on what you really want out of this could be a product shot for your brand or something. All you would have to do is go here, go edit out this, and say a skateboarder wearing a Nike shirt, comma, and you could even include logos into your design. So I'll go copy image from online, include that into the image prompt, and hit enter, and then just see what happens. And that's the best part about this whole thing, is that you just trial and error, see what happens, test and iterate the entire way. And maybe at the end of the day, you get something that looks really cool. So see what I mean? So we'll upscale that to subtle, or we'll upscale that subtly, because I think that looks the best. And there you go, there's a product shot. And you can take that for your own thing. You could take it for some custom brand that you're freelancing for. You could take it for a big brand, whatever you want. I like how this one looks. Something about that smile. This is a cool smile too. So we're gonna upscale. And I think that's about it. So by the end of my conceptualizations, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so images that are rendering that actually look pretty cool in my opinion. And what I'll do after that, and what I'll do after I get the images that I think look really cool, I'll just upload them, because why not, right? Somebody likes them, even if it's just me. So now out of these two, which one am I going to like more? Probably this one. I really like that smile. So yeah, we're gonna go select for computer, just throw them all in. It doesn't even have to be that much work. Like, there you go, boom, it's all there. So actually we're gonna do these ones. Now, you know what, out of all of them, I know which ones I really like the most. We'll just go with these ones, because I really like these ones the most. So we'll make some final adjustments. After a couple adjustments, here we go. We come up with 2 posts, and I think they look really cool. So there you go, the sunshine called in sick. And yeah, feel free to take the workflow, feel free to do whatever you want with it. That's the prompt. Go ahead, steal it, take it, do whatever you want with it. It's done and it's uploaded. So if you want to see more of this, leave a comment. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thanks for watching.